With the revelation of threatening texts in a lawsuit against him, New York Attorney General Letitia James has escalated the legal battle surrounding former President Donald Trump. These new details cast a shadow over the life of the public figure and add a disturbing new dimension to the inquiry and legal battles that the former president is currently experiencing. It clarifies the contentious matters involving Letitia James. According to a Newsweek article from Monday, December 12th, James came clean about the fact that her office had a slew of menacing messages concerning the Donald Trump probe. This video will explain everything. Please, before we go any further, if you are new to my channel, subscribe by clicking the icon below and enabling notifications so that you can receive all of our latest updates. The contents contained in these legal filings highlight the potential risks of going to court and the repercussions of suing high-profile politicians. Information pertaining to James's communications serves as a clear illustration of the difficulties encountered by law enforcement when seeking justice. The court system is not the place for threats and intimidation. James has demonstrated the importance of upholding justice in open and safe legal systems, free from outside influences, by making these texts public. The disclosure of threatening messages in this legal environment brings concerns about civility and respect in public discourse to light, while healthy debate and dissent are essential to any democratic society. The use of coercion and threats undermines the whole basis of our just and impartial justice system. Even when confronted with contentious litigation, James's application urges a more civil and measured approach to public discourse. It is of the utmost significance to uphold procedural integrity in court actions involving public figures. Publicizing the details of the threatening messages demonstrates both the difficulties encountered by Letitia James' office and the strength required to maintain the rule of law when confronted with hardship. The threats described in James's file raise concerns about public accountability for deeds and words. No matter how much pressure a public person may be under, using threats or physical force to voice their disapproval runs counter to the democratic principles upon which our justice system is based. The submission that James makes becomes an appeal for a discourse that is more civil, productive, and based on justice ideals. Revelations of threatening communications further complicate the story around the former president as the trial against him progresses. This new information highlights the gravity of the inquiry and the intensity of emotions that can arise when powerful individuals face legal action. A clear reminder of the elevated tensions in high-profile cases and the significance of protecting the integrity of court proceedings is Letitia James's decision to disclose these threats. To sum up, this case shows how important it is to have a court system that is free from bias and intimidation while still being open and fair. The nation must unite in its dedication to respecting the rule of law and engaging in civil conversation, particularly in matters that get national attention. These latest developments in the ongoing legal crisis surrounding Donald Trump have kept the public's attention and highlighted the difficulties and complications of delivering justice. By going public with these messages, Letitia James has demonstrated that she will not let threats stop her from seeking justice and that she will be transparent, no matter what. Her chilling description of the threatening messages in the Trump case is a stark reminder of the difficulties authorities have while seeking justice. This discovery emphasizes the significance of a safe, non-threatening, and respectful legal process in maintaining justice's principles. The threats indicated in James's filing, revealed as the legal drama progresses, highlight the importance of upholding the integrity of the legal system in the face of external pressures and difficult arguments. In addition, as part of his probe, former President Trump has requested evidence from special counsel Jack Smith to show that the 2020 election was actually stolen from him. However, such proof does not exist because numerous audits and recounts have confirmed that the 2020 election was legitimately lost, despite the potential benefit it would have for Trump in future prosecutions involving voter fraud. Ailey Honig, a legal analyst for CNN, analyzed the request and pondered whether the judge would really order Smith and his staff to actively seek out proof to back up Trump's conspiracy beliefs. He was skeptical, saying that lawyers have extensive disclosure duties and that Trump's demand exceeds them. It is not the prosecutor's responsibility to seek out evidence that is highly unlikely to exist, according to Honig, so the judge will likely reject it. After a disastrous attempt to blackmail special counsel Jack Smith into dropping charges, Trump is again dealing with negative news regarding his legal case. Be sure to keep an eye on the situation, since this news is going to brighten your day. But before I go any further, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to my daily political news updates by clicking the icon and then turning on notifications. According to legal expert Joyce Vance, there seem to be substantial obstacles to former President Trump's effort to blackmail Jack Smith into dropping charges. The plan, which entails submitting mountains of documentation in an effort to overwhelm prosecutors and force them to drop the case, is highly unlikely to be successful, according to the Raw story from December 11, 2023. Vance, who has experience as both a federal prosecutor and a legal analyst, addressed the matter and stressed that the judicial system remains strong in spite of these techniques. The use of greymail is a high-stakes tactic that usually backfires. She asserted that our judicial system is resilient enough to resist such efforts and that prosecutors are well prepared to deal with them. Reports indicate that Trump's legal team has inundated the court with a flood of paperwork, aiming to divert its focus and resources and bury Jack Smith's primary charges. Many view this action as an attempt to hide the accusations against Smith by exploiting procedural difficulties. Nonetheless, according to Vance, such strategies are not likely to sway the involved prosecutors. She went on to say that seasoned prosecutors are well equipped to handle complicated cases, including those involving attempts at blackmail. Vance stressed that the court system is ready to differentiate between genuine legal issues and attempts to disrupt the judicial process through strategic maneuvers. Furthermore, Vance emphasized that public opinion and media attention heavily influence the outcome of high-profile cases. She made the point that the public's growing knowledge of efforts to use the legal system for political benefit can protect the court from excessive influence and strengthen its independence. The legal professional also emphasized the importance of staying focused on the content of the charges brought out by Jack Smith. No matter what strategies the defense employs, the fundamental problems with the case will not change. According to Vance, the prosecution will keep constructing its case according to the evidence and the law. Greymail is the most recent example of the Trump administration's history of employing unconventional legal tactics in an effort to influence the storyline of current court cases. The method might not work in this particular instance, according to Vance's study. As events play out in court, everyone is waiting to see how the system handles these moves and if it sticks to its values of fairness and impartiality. News of Trump's alleged misuse of public funds for private benefit has sent shockwaves among his loyal followers. A large portion of his adherents are angry and want answers because they feel tricked. What are your thoughts on this matter in light of this significant event? We invite you to share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section and engage in a discussion. Before delving into the specifics of the issue, let us provide some context. Spending public money on improving public services, infrastructure, and community initiatives has a multiplicative effect on society. But claims that government leaders are exploiting these funds for their own gain undermine public faith and jeopardize society's very fabric. His supporters are disappointed by the scandal surrounding Trump's suspected misappropriation of public funds. My inquiries are as follows. How did news about Trump's purported financial mismanagement get out into the public eye? And what does this mean for him? Rumors are circulating that Trump may have used his position to enrich himself financially, taken advantage of legal loopholes, or participated in questionable financial activities. Many of his devotees are feeling deeply let down and questioning their unwavering commitment because of these assertions. To get a better sense of how people felt and what they made of the story, we reached out to individuals like you and searched social media. The angry responses have given voice to the rage, discontent, and sentiments of betrayal felt by many Trump supporters. Some people are trying to get a comprehensive inquiry started, while others are having trouble believing these allegations. It is crucial to take a critical stance and consider other perspectives while evaluating this dispute and its effects. It is important to think about how this would affect Trump's credibility and the trust his followers have in him in the long run. If the claims of embezzlement of public funds hold, it will tarnish his image and make his supporters question his ability to lead with integrity. These allegations may severely affect the course of his political career and the legacy he leaves behind. His followers should hold him to account and demand transparency and candor from their leaders. Salon reported on Saturday, December 9th, that former President Trump criticized LinkedIn co-founder and billionaire Reid Hoffman for contributing $250,000 to a super PAC endorsing Republican candidate Nikki Haley's bid for the presidency in 2022. Not only that, but Hoffman was a Democratic donor and Trump's lawyer. It seems like Trump was upset about Haley's financial support as well as Hoffman's prior positions. Feel free to share your opinions in the provided space. Just give us a thumbs up if you think this video was really helpful. Now that Donald Trump has attacked Bill Barr so severely, the Attorney General is facing yet another indictment. This news will brighten your day, so please watch all the way to the finish. Before we go any further, we kindly ask that you take a few seconds out of your day to subscribe to our updates by clicking the button below and by activating the notification bell. During remarks made at an event in New York on Saturday night, Donald Trump attacked William Barr, his former main legal officer and possible preliminary observer, in an effort to shape his gag order in the federal criminal case involving his efforts to influence the 2020 election results. This evening, I solemnly swear to you that Bill Barr will not serve as our chief legal officer. Excuse me, is that acceptable? As I was talking about the possibility of a second administration, Trump stated, he drew the line at speaking up for fear of reprimand. The US Court of Appeals for the DC, notably, the Circuit Court had decided just days earlier that Trump cannot harm prospective witnesses or attorneys who may testify as preliminary observers in the 2020 election interference case now before the Washington court, so long as his insults do not include their involvement in the criminal investigation or trial processes. Trump has promised to fight the gag order before the United States Supreme Court, but by that standard, it was not apparent whether he had committed a blatant violation of its requirements, the highest court in the land. Still, it put his censorship evasion skills to the test and expanded his knowledge of the restrictions and scope. During the speech, he made this remark about Barr, which was full of contempt for Trump's four criminal investigations and threats of retaliation. He delivered the speech in front of an audience that included people he intended to nominate for high-ranking positions in the Justice Department next year, should he be reappointed to the presidency. Once again, Trump drew parallels between himself and the legendary mob boss Al Capone. However, he appeared to be making the case more forcefully in the presence of his most devoted associates, such as Kash Patel, who is generally considered a front-runner for the position of chief of the FBI or CIA, and Jeffrey Clark, a former official of the Justice Department who has been indicted after speaking at the black tie event hosted by the New York Young Republican Club. Trump and his in-house counsel Boris Epshteyn, who is also rumored to be a top prospect for a key legal position in the White House in the case of a second Trump administration, had a brief private conversation with Patel and Clark. Former Bannon advisor and current Trump communications director Steve Chung did not show up. Much obliged for your time. Kindly subscribe to our channel and tell us what you think by posting a comment below.